Welcome to Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. This is not your typical financial radio show. As a licensed CPA, insurance agent, and investment advisory representative, Chris coaches his clients on a holistic view of financial well-being with an objective of providing a complete financial strategy to fund life's goals. Chris is here to guide you down the path to the financial serenity you deserve. Now, here's Chris Cooper.
All right, good morning, folks. It is daylight savings time. We have a whole extra hour of daylight, and quite frankly, I am ready for it. It is about time. In studio with me today, we've got Katie Modglin of Magic Expedition. Geez, I can't talk this morning. Magic Expeditions. Katie, how are you?
It's that extra hour.
It is.
That's what it
I'm
is.
so excited that
That's
I can't talk about it, you know? Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you get excited about this time change thing?
Apparently not as much as you.
Well, you know, right? This was a hard winter for me for some reason. It just, it wasn't even, we had, I guess, two fairly decent sized snowstorms.
It was our winteriest winter we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I guess that drives you mad a little bit, right? So, and we don't have good winter where it's like exciting and like you can do fun things with the winter here.
No, kids,
So-
can we go outside? No, it's too cold.
It's like freezing and there's no mountains to ski. So
No.
like, what's the point? Right. So,
right.
So it is time. I'm very excited about it. And one of the things I think about right now is, you know, spring break season's coming up.
It is.
And, you know, maybe you've got some spring break plans and all that kind of stuff. But I know what you do is help people with travel. And
is.
so maybe this is the time of year where people start thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot about that summer trip I want to take and all that good stuff. So when is the right time to plan for a summer vacation with the family?
There's never a wrong time.
I know. I always, every time I talk to you, I'm like, Katie, what's the cool stuff we can do now? Right? Like, I want to do something neat.
Like,
So-
let me give you a list.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
There's
on
a
your list.
list.
You're a great Facebook follow.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank
because
you.
you have so many, like, every time I'm like, ooh, I like that. I want to go there.
I love it. Katie,
So-
Magic Expeditions by Katie Modglin.
Yes.
We do have two Katies, so
You're Katie M.
I'm Katie M. The other Katie's fantastic as well, but I'm
Not
Katie
Katie M, though.
That's right. I love
She's going
her.
to call in. Oh, man. No,
She is.
I'm good, too, just so you know. So she's not, what's Katie who?
D'Agostino.
So she's Katie D.
Yes.
All right.
And
Well,
she is
there
in
you
this
go.
area as well. She's
We'll give her a
fantastic.
shout out there.
I
So,
love it.
All right.
I love it.
So Katie M, Magic Expeditions. So I know you're a big Disney fan.
I am.
So that's kind of one of the things you really like to plan for people.
I do. I actually leave for there in a week.
Yeah, that's nice.
I do. It's a
You
training.
go there quite a bit.
In fairness, it's a training.
Well,
like
that's okay.
I'm literally sitting in a conference room training.
That means
So
it's a business
for
expense,
you.
is what that means.
Absolutely. And I can still get my Dole Whip.
Yeah, those are amazing. I wish you could
Right?
bring me back one.
I know.
Actually.
All these places will say Dole Whip here or here. I'm like, it's not the same.
No.
It's just
And
not.
I assume you're talking about that little hut that's right next to the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Aloha Isle.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
the one. Yeah, or I guess it's really
I'm so proud.
It's really right next to the tree, Tom Sawyer's tree. No, is it Tom
Yes.
Sawyer's thing?
Or the tiki room on the other side of the tiki
which
room.
I think is actually a very underrated experience.
You know, as somebody who is not a fan of birds, I do like me some tiki room.
It's kind of fun.
Kind of
So,
silly.
It is.
Kinda
It's very
kinda-
silly.
Oh, the Country Bears Jamboree. If you don't follow Disney news, they've redone that one.
I've heard that that's gone now. Yeah.
It's redone.
Okay.
It's redone. And the old version, I thought, wow, they can get away with some of this. And it's just, as an adult, it was hysterical.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to go back and see how they've reimagined.
So that's on the list this time.
I think it might be. I
Yeah.
think it might be along with one of my favorite things at Disney is they do these festivals at Epcot.
Yep.
And in the springtime, they do the Flower and Garden Festival. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
there is still time to go. And Rick Springfield will be performing when I am there.
Okay.
Very excited for that. But there's all these booths set up around the park.
Yeah.
You just eat and drink. And one year, my husband and I did a trip, just us as adults, and we ate ourselves silly and just ate and drank around the world. That's all you have to do. You know, and in the fall, you can still plan a trip.
Yep.
They have the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, I think a lot of people forget, you know, Disney we're foodies. Like, I love to talk to people about food on different trips and stuff like
Sure.
that. And Disney, you can find some great food there. You know,
Yeah.
we love to go eat the good restaurants, and we're going this summer with our kids and with cousins and aunts, uncle, you know, like a big family trip. And that's what we're looking forward to is where can we eat?
It is just, but it's such a stressful vacation too, for me at least. There's a lot of crowds, all that stuff, but I think you know how to do it well. And you kind of, I feel like it's a vacation you need a vacation from after.
I can see that.
Because it's just a lot. It
is a lot. As I try to help people understand that. Like if you have somebody going spring break, preparing them for, you are going at a busy season, but let me help you get through that.
Sure.
You know, so I have actually quite a few families going this month alone for spring break. I have somebody getting back today from Cancun. Beautiful resort. They're staying at the Unico, 2087. Gorgeous, gorgeous property. I have somebody going to Cabo. I actually have a family leaving on a princess cruise in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's really
I never thought
cool.
about a cruise in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's by water. I mean, I don't know why I never thought about it, but
it's a great way to get around and see the country.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have going on? I can't remember off the top of my head, but lots of fun things going on.
Yeah. Well, I will talk a little bit about, since last time you were on, I think it was before we left, you were mentioning foodies and things like that. And so you helped us plan our trip for our anniversary to St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Always a goal of ours to go there for our 20th year anniversary. And we stayed in basically a tree house.
You did.
It was super cool. No air conditioning, which freaked me out at first, but then I realized it was like 85 degrees year round there. Beautiful breeze. The food at that resort was absolutely incredible. I've never been to an all-inclusive where I felt like I didn't just have to, drink pina coladas every single minute of the day to get my money's worth, right?
Right.
I've been to, and I don't need to, badmouth anybody, so I'm not going to say their names, but the chain style of
Makes
place.
sense. Yes.
Where the same restaurant exists on Jamaica, on Dominican, on every single restaurant. It's always the same restaurants at every location. This one, it was one restaurant in the whole resort, different themes, different experiences. There was probably 2 or 3 technically, but wow, what an experience. We met the chef, we met the GM, the owners sent us letters wanting to hear about our experience. So accommodating. Changed our experience for our next trip about what we want from an all-inclusive. We don't want that big box feel anymore.
Right.
So,
well, that's part of our job too as an advisor. Just like you do with what you do. Same for me with what I do. Sit down and talk to people. Schedule a phone call, or even if you don't have time for a phone call, and we do the questionnaire over the email. I was like, put the words not coming. Sunday morning, extra hour. But anyway, it's asking those questions. Where was your favorite vacation? What did your kids like? What do they want out of it? What do you want to eat, see, do? All of that kind of stuff. And that can help us as your advisor advise the correct, place to go, things to see, stuff like that. And I love the research of it. I love researching places for people. I love looking into it. And I have to remember, not everybody's me. Not everybody wants the fun donut shop or the whatever. You know what I mean? So I do have to kind of remember that. But I find all of that fun and exciting.
And I love, that's exactly like that advisory piece of it. You get the questionnaire, covers the basics, right? But then asking those questions, building it in. That's why my first meetings are sitting in front of my fireplace on the couch. Right?
Yes.
What's going on? What does this mean to you? These numbers don't mean anything to me. It's just a number until I understand goals, objectives, concerns, all of that stuff, because that's when you can tailor make that trip or that plan for your future, right?
It's the age-old, what should we have for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes. Are we back at my house? Where's my kiddos asking? Geez.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's, I think, both of what we do, that's what you do. You
absolutely.
have to dig a little deeper.
Yeah. So I think it's so fun because whether you are looking at cruises, and I'm not a cruise person. I know we've talked a little bit about this. Alaska, though, I think a cruise in Alaska could make some sense.
SerenityWealthNow group cruise.
Oh, geez. Here we go. That does actually sound very appealing.
That's a nice ring.
Well, I've never seen the Northern Lights.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Right? Yeah. And then there's some cool things like caves and stuff. It's the outdoor stuff that I get intrigued by, right?
Yeah.
I saw something on your page there about, it looked like they were underneath a cave with a glacier or something. What was, you know what I'm talking about?
I believe that was, it's going to be up in the Icy Strait, Glacier National Park.
That's where that, Yeah, though that explains why I'm mesmerized by it. Just the glues, colors, and oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, just so you know, there's only 2 cruise lines that have access into there.
Oh, interesting.
So I can help guide you if that's important to you, and which of those cruise lines would be the right fit.
Well, it makes some sense. And I think that Alaska on a cruise does make some sense.
It does. It really does. I do have a family doing this summer. They're doing rail bookers in Alaska because they wanted to see, their goal was to see the national parks.
Sure.
And so there was a couple they wanted to see. Well, this was a different option for them that they could go see the national parks.
Nice.
That's on their list. So, it's that talking to them.
Right.
The cruise wasn't going to be the right fit for them, but this was an important trip.
Right. Now, all right, so back to my all-inclusive goals, because we're going to talk a little bit about my future wishes as well here. So, because I'm sure other people think this way too.
Yes.
Right.
How you learn.
Like, it's crazy how it is the same restaurant at some of these like big box kind of places, right? So that customization and feel, if you are looking for an all-inclusive, optionalities for that cultural experience do exist.
100%.
Right? But still, all-inclusives are not like, it's not everywhere that's going to have them.
Oh,
right?
no. And I think that's a big misconception that's out there too. Well, I want to go to Aruba and go to an all-inclusive. Well,
so Aruba does not have all-inclusive?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of islands do have them, but that's not their bread and butter.
They do like a lot of that European style
plan,
or something.
Exactly.
Which that was kind of what I experienced, but they also have the all-inclusive option as well.
Yes.
Right? So it's just different.
Yes.
So.
Which, again, St. Lucia does have some all-inclusive options, but it's not going to be the majority.
Right.
Your big all-inclusive locations are going to be Mexico, both coasts.
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, you head over to the Cabo side, it's a good mix.
Right.
You actually have more European plan locations than you do all-inclusive.
Okay.
Cancun, Riviera Maya, straight up.
Almost 100% all-inclusive.
That's the majority, yeah.
But there are still some that are not the big box thing, though.
There are some boutique ones.
Yeah.
And I mean,
is that the right word to use? Boutique.
Boutique is your, your cute.
Yeah.
Not your Holiday Inns, not your, Marriott's, things like that. Yeah. And then Jamaica and Dominican Republic. Those are going to be your big all-inclusive locations.
Got it.
Like I'll have somebody. Well, I wouldn't do all-inclusive Hawaii. Well, Hawaii's a state.
Yeah.
And
so none in the
that's
States.
Not really a thing. Yeah. No, I mean, your high-end, think like spa type resort places.
Potentially.
Yeah. So there's a couple like that.
I just like to not think. When I'm on vacation, I like to not think.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So Dude Ranch. That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, there is a Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
I found, oh gosh, I looked into this a while ago, so I can't remember the name off the top of my head or anything about it. I didn't have a client that was the right fit, but
you might have one.
I might have one now.
I'm intrigued.
No, show my age. Whatever.
As long as I don't have to do real work, like when I want to be done, I can be done.
Right.
With the Dude Ranch stuff.
Like you're done duding.
Yes. Yeah. Can I get cleaned up now and plug in my phone?
Right.
We're watching Yellowstone, right? Then the new season, and the first 2 episodes shows you just not the best life there. In the Wild Wild West.
In the Wild West.
It is 1923. That's the newest one. So
yes, we haven't started the new season yet. That's on our list.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it for folks, so I won't. But the first 2 episodes, man, it's a bold world over there. So
well, I'm glad you bring that up though, because that is a big thing for people is traveling to locations from these shows that they watch and they like. I am working on a Yellowstone, Wyoming trip for a family right now.
I get it. And that's a big deal right now because the popularity of what's going on. It's made those areas kind of come in some ways back to life a little bit.
Absolutely.
But what I think is cool about what that show is kind of doing is, and really I think those states do a fairly good job as far as this country at least, of keeping pristine with nature, right? Yes. Some states have that luxury over others, and fortunately, I think that there's some really cool places over there. So.
Well, there's the new docuseries. I think it's a Disney one, but I think it's on Peacock also. But it's called The Americas.
Yeah,
and Tom Hanks.
narrated. Yes. I haven't watched that yet.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, is it out now? I think
it is.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I think.
I know. Yeah. I at least saw the coming attractions or whatever we call it these days
Reviews?
With streaming things. So
I don't know. That's why I'm like, which app was I on? But yeah,
That does look cool.
there is
I want to see that.
another fun show. If you have Max, HBO Max, it's
Well, we have all of them.
Of course.
I mean, geez, Yeah, we cut the cable a long time ago and got duped into this where we are now paying a lot more.
yes,
At
same.
like $5 a pop.
Same here. What, this kid watches something on this one, and I
for this
watch on
one
this
show,
one, and
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're the same. But it's about, now I'm not going to remember the name of the show, but it's about unique hotels.
Okay.
And not like all inclusive like we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
but just unique hotels. And I did a training recently. Hilton Properties started a new line called The Graduate.
Okay.
Which, yes, my mind goes to the movie. But it is called The Graduate. So, like, for example, Princeton, the hotel is there, and they're more high end, but it takes that history of Princeton and builds it into all of the decor, all of the rooms, all of the everything, and so it's all these, I wish I could remember, University of Michigan, Tennessee, I'm trying to remember some of the big ones that are on this list, but yeah, it's the Graduate Hotels, chain of hotels. And so I was really fascinated by those. Thought that was pretty cool.
For some reason, I'm thinking like frat parties and keg stands or something, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, I think this is your alumni coming in, Well,
that's kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
It shows you that there's so many different themes and things, and we want to get out. Like, we got sick travel. And I always tell people, plan for travel. When you retire, plan for experience as you're saving for financial. We got to have fun today. We also want to have fun in the future. We want to make sure that travel can last our lifetime, of course. But those experiences, they never go away.
Exactly. And, you kind of hit it on two things too. As a kid, I remember, that's what I remember more from growing up with my family was all the places we went. And I'm very fortunate that my parents traveled a lot with us.
Yeah.
And we got to see pretty much almost all 50 states. I got to go to Europe a couple of times, things along that line. So I realize I am blessed. That's not a normal for a lot. It hasn't been a normal for my kids, but working on it. But that's what I remember. I don't remember a lot of the things that we received. Just a couple Christmases. I might remember getting the big stereo. Remember in the 80s, the big stereos were the big thing. Yeah. Remember that. But beyond that, my memories come from those trips. Then fast forward, doing this for a job, a lot of my clients I love working with are the ones whose kids are out of the house and they're retired. And some of these adventures that we can send them on are just so cool.
I agree.
So cool. River cruising is big right now.
So that's the European river cruises are a big part of that, right?
European, but I had a client do Viking Nile.
Okay.
In Egypt
interesting.
Last November. I actually sold 2 more of those for 2026. 2 couples are going to go in April. But then, yes, I also have another father and his sons are doing the Danube this July. So yeah, river cruising, and that's a great way because you're not unpacking multiple times. Even
small
ocean
boats,
cruising.
a little bit more custom feel, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. The big boats, they're like a hotel on the water. It freaks me out, just all the people and stuff. It's the Disney thing. Like it's still that crowd thing that I get a little bit paranoid about for some reason. When I get out, I like to get out and enjoy my space, right? That's why you sent me to St. Lucia. So
that's why you go off season.
There you go. Maybe that's the answer too. We have flexibility. We can do those kind of things. So,
but you can you can book far out. Like I said, I have people.
And that's always when you get a lot more options and kind of the good price points
locking
as well.
in your better pricing. But people are planning last minute too, so there's still time. A lot of us have that mentality.
The 2 ends of the pricing spectrum, right? You either are last minute and flexible because they might have a little occupancy and you have to be very flexible.
Right.
Or you plan in advance for the thing you really want and commit to it.
Yes. Yeah. And you have more options like your room selection or your, things along that line.
So if that's all important to you, plan in advance.
Right.
But you don't have to pay for the whole thing in advance.
No.
What is it usually?
10 to 20%, it just depends,
to lock in the piece.
To lock in.
Yeah. Okay.
And then flights, like, I have a client right now, we're kind of trying to figure out where it's going to be the right location for them, but they're looking at November, December, January next year. And I'm like, well, flights aren't out yet for that. So, we can add that in later. That's no problem. But
you got the baseline kind of understanding of what that might look like.
Right.
And that's a big thing for me too. I learned there's certain airports to try to avoid. Flying into Miami on customs is tough. We are TSA pre-screened. We do not check bags. We are very simple people. But it still took an hour plus to get through to our connecting flight through customs. It's just a tough airport.
It is.
So think about that kind of stuff, right?
And I try to look at that. I mean, some places, like you
well,
guys.
some places it's
no
unavoidable.
option.
Like it is what it is.
Yes.
We had either the Miami connection or a better connection, what was that? It was North Carolina or Charlotte, I think.
Charlotte's a big
It was Charlotte,
one.
but the time was tough.
Yes.
Like, so it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get in later or do you want to go earlier? And, and we were flying into a snowstorm, so it really kind of worked out better.
You were.
So I'm pretty happy with our choice. But
yes, it worked out.
it was tough to go from snorkeling on the beach to 8 inches of snow, but
I remember that.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, real world problems over here.
Right, exactly.
So now the one resort that is on my, I know you love talking about this resort that we're thinking about with our kiddos who are very active, 19, 16, like to do some fun stuff. In Riviera Maya area is Hotel Xcaret, which I think is super cool for activity level.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. I've had multiple. I've had a couple who are empty nesters now, and they did their anniversary trip there this past September. I've had a grandmother and her granddaughter go as like a graduation gift and had an amazing time. I mean, she got grandmother jump off a cliff, kind of situation. So it was so fun. But the Xcaret properties, so there's eco parks. There's about 9 eco parks all in the Riviera Maya area. And the Xcaret has rights to all of them. So when you stay at one of their 3 hotels, resorts, not hotels, resorts.
Which are different levels and different experiences in and of themselves, right?
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
and
they are really
not
pretty.
that cookie cutter.
They're not.
Chain.
Yeah.
They're very, I want to say, true to the culture.
So, and I remember that because we stayed at a property that was not a Hotel Xcaret property, but it was adjacent, and they gave you access through a pass to see their show at one of their eco parks.
Okay.
And we got a great experience with the Mexican culture.
Yes.
And it was super neat to see.
Yes. And it is going to be, the price point is higher. And I tell people that, and they're like, oh, I don't know. And I said, yes, but what you're getting, it's like staying on Disney property.
Yeah.
You're in the bubble, you're there, everything's there. You don't need to leave.
Right.
So if you want to do the floating and the snorkeling at this one day, and you want to do the zip lining and ATV the next day, and it's all included. Mm-hmm. So there's of course, every property's going to have maybe this specialty dinner that you want to go to is a little bit more this dinner theater or whatever.
And those are worth it many times.
They are.
We ate in St. Lucia. I'm back to my trip now. But I had lionfish.
It's insane.
On a beach where the head chef of the whole resort prepared it. We got a cookbook signed. It was incredible.
Listen, y'all, I can't tell you how nervous I was. I just wanted Chris and his wife to get back so I could be like, you're okay, right? You're not sick. Like, I was so scared.
7-course lionfish meal. Every course had something like different with lionfish.
That's crazy.
The ceviche was the best.
That's insane.
Who knew?
And for those that don't know, a lionfish is the most poisonous. Correct?
One of. Now it's not. I think it's more venomous, not poisonous. Because it has big barbs on it. But they're an invasive species. Those barbs are what are poisonous to people. So venomous. Venomous is fangs. Maybe I don't know.
That
I'm not
fish
that expert.
can hurt other
fish and humans
okay.
with the barbs. But you don't. It's the barbs. You're not like sucking on the barbs like a straw or anything. Like that would probably be bad.
That's pretty bad.
So, but the fish itself. So imagine like the texture and the richness of lobster.
Okay.
With more of a white fish taste of like a mahi or a tilapia kind of a thing. So much more tame, but that very rich texture, very thick, dense fish. It was incredible.
Makes you wonder. Who caught this fish and thought, I want to try to cook it?
Probably the second one, because the first person probably had a bad experience with the barbs. But yeah, so it's an invasive species. So it eats a lot of the coral and it does a lot of bad things to the area. And so a lot of spear fishing was big in St. Lucia. So a lot of spear fishermen out there and kind of cleaning up it's actually good for the environment because it's an invasive
as I say, so you were helping
species. Yeah. So it was really cool. So I love the experiences, right? Now, some of them I've had some experiential dinners at the big box places and I was not as impressed.
Blown away.
But the local neat little eclectic resorts, I think. But that's what I do for a living too, right? I believe in that small box feel, that individual attention, that customization towards a plan. And I think when I go on vacation, I notice the differences in that appeal of the big box store that, this is what they do. Every restaurant has this, every island has the same Italian restaurant.
Right.
I guess I understand and appreciate that.
I think that's, again, with what you do, with what I do, sure, you could book it on your own, but then if something goes wrong or something changes, you're the one on hold,
right?
Or calling or dealing with or whatever.
And you don't always know the options either.
Right. I mean, it's funny because you'll have people, we'll go back to Disney, oh, I go every year. Let me help you. Well, but are you going every year and planning for a multi-gen family?
Yeah.
Or planning for a kid with special needs or planning for the, it's like, that's what we do is every day, so I can take the itinerary I would send your family and adjust it differently than I could take it to the next family, your neighbors who have small children,
right?
And you customize it based on the needs of the family. You're not going to get that from those websites out there or doing it yourself, and you're supporting a small business,
right?
And you're not paying anything extra. We're compensated, so we're taken care of. It's just, why would you not? Yeah. It's still the old mentality of, oh, well, you have a travel agent, it's expensive.
I've never felt that way, and every time I've had we plan multiple things and it just makes a big difference because it's so much more efficient of my time. I get to bounce ideas off you.
Right.
Which is also awesome. Like, here's what I'm looking for.
And I go, oh gosh, here comes Chris's email.
I know, right? I'm not easy. I'm not easy because at the last minute I throw in that I'm kind of also trying to be efficient with these high demands, So it's a process, though.
Just giving you a hard time.
Oh, you should. I expect it. I can dish that out too, so I get it.
But that's what we do.
Yeah.
We help answer those. And if I don't know the answer, you know what? Let me find it.
Well, you've been there, you've done that. You know what works for people, and there's that you learn with more people that go out to different areas. You take their combined experiences and kind of are able to tailor something for everybody.
And I learn things too. Like one thing I give people who go to places on the water is go to Target or Walmart or wherever and get it's called Damp Rid. Yeah. And get a box of that, throw it in your luggage, take it with you, and it just helps kind of absorb some of that mildewy, stuff. And I'll bring it, I throw it in the corner of the room, and then at the end of the trip I just toss it.
Never done that one.
A tip I always send. Now, that being said, I just had two couples go to Live Aqua in Cancun, another beautiful property. And she's there. I didn't realize this. They're carry-on only people, and they couldn't bring that on the carry-on. I don't know why. I don't know if something in the chemical of the, there's like,
well, that's maybe why I never tried it.
Yeah.
I'm a carry-on
You're
person.
a carry-on person.
Yeah.
I wish.
So my tip, and this was included in your little tips for travel thing, metal straws.
Yes.
On the Caribbean islands.
Yes.
Metal straws. I'm not a straw person, but when I have a frozen drink, darn it, I want my straws. And paper straws are not what we want.
They don't do it. Yeah.
All right. So Katie M., Magic Expeditions, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I could talk travel. We're going to be back in a couple months here because we also have a shared love for Star Wars. So we're going to talk about that next time you come into studio.
I love it.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I think I could talk to Katie about travel destinations all day long. It is so fun. And fortunately, in what I do, I get to hear about fun goals, fun trips people take, and I get to learn new ideas too. And I can run them by Katie and talk about where we might need to think about going for our next trip. Bottom line, folks, planning for our future is important. Planning for expenses, including the fun we love to do, is important. That is why we work so hard. Get that peace of mind you deserve. Check us out, SerenityWealthNow.com, and enjoy that extra hour of daylight today. We'll see you next week.
Serenity Now! This is Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Request a free copy of Chris's latest book, The New Holistic Retirement, by visiting SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Serenity Now!